What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. Tonight, I just got done watching the hotly anticipated new film by Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo Dicaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, and a slew of other people. Essentially, I want to keep the summary real short and sweet here. Leonardo DiCaprio plays a member of a resistance that tries to fight back against the government, and they try and do things like liberate immigrants being deported across the border. They try and blow up courthouses that are about to rule in favor for things like banning abortions, and he winds up falling in love with this woman, and they have a child. And the movie kind of jumps 16 years from that moment where he has left the life of being in a rebellion behind in the favor of raising this girl to do right by her and kind of keep her out of harm's way. However, the past catches up to him eventually, where Sean Penn's character, who is one of the officers during the raid of the immigrants that you see in the beginning of the film, is still seeking revenge on Leonardo DiCaprio for essentially hogtying him and throwing him off to the side while they liberated this camp that Sean Penn was in charge of. Even 16 years later, he's gunning for him, and Leonardo DiCaprio has to take his daughter and go on the run, trying to evade Sean Penn's character, who has an entire militia out to try and find them. And that's all I'll say about the film, because there are tons of twists and turns. This is essentially a cat and mouse game where Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to stay one step ahead of Sean Penn's character at all times, even though Sean Penn is wildly more smart than him. Now, this is first and foremost a Paul Thomas Anderson film, and for those of you who don't know him, he's done movies like There Will Be Blood and Licorice Pizza as of late. And Paul Thomas Anderson has always been someone that has made very well-made movies. Every time he makes a movie, it's nominated for an Oscar. He doesn't always win. He has won a lot of Oscars, but he doesn't always win, but they're always nominated because he always tells very fascinating stories and gets very fantastic performances out of his actors. Now, this is the first time I've seen a Paul Thomas Anderson film where he kind of switches gears, because a lot of the times his movies are geared more towards very heavy dialogue, and I wouldn't necessarily classify a Paul Thomas Anderson film as exciting. He doesn't make exciting, blockbuster, throw popcorn in your face types of films. He makes dramas. And this is definitely, in my opinion, a gateway drug type of film of his for people that want more of an exciting film. This is the first time he made a film that really had me on the edge of my seat. Because sure, it does have a really fantastic drama at its center about a father and a daughter trying to evade this guy after they spent so many years in hiding because Leonardo DiCaprio was liberating immigrants. Like, it has a really good story, but it also has a ton of exciting things. It has a ton of car chases. It has Sean Penn's character, who plays like a really vile villain that's killing people left and right. There's a big body count in this film. You got Leonardo DiCaprio jumping out of moving cars and rolling down hills. You got him running over rooftops with a bunch of skateboarders evading the police. You got him shooting at the military to try and save his daughter. You got car chases, you got this and that, and it's just a really exciting film, and it doesn't feel like a Paul Thomas Anderson film in the sense that it's not something I've ever seen him do before, kind of like Darren Aronofsky doing things like Requiem for a Dream and Mother, and then he goes to do Caught Stealing with Austin Butler, which I thought was an amazing crime caper. I'm really enjoying this era that we're in of these directors known for doing one thing, transitioning and doing another. It's not just in dramas or crime movies either. You also have somebody like Zach Kreger, who did things like The Whitest Kids You Know, going off to do Barbarian and now Weapons. And then you have Jordan Peele with his background in Key and Peele going off to do things like Get Out and Up and Us. And it's just really exciting seeing people that are so good at doing one thing transitioning and doing another, because not only does Paul Thomas Anderson take that skill that he has in great dialogue and great character development and puts that into a crime caper like One Battle After Another, but because it's Paul Thomas Anderson, he makes the best possible version of that, and it's just an excellent movie. You've heard a lot of the critics coming out of this and talking about how this is the best film of the year. It has like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Some people are saying it's the best film of the decade. And as somebody that does not like Paul Thomas Anderson films, I'm aware they're amazing, but they're not for me. Licorice Pizza was not for me. There Will Be Blood was not for me. They're slower, more methodical films. I'm into the more throw popcorn in your face, Indiana Jones, action, adventure, crime caper films. This appealed to me. Not only did it appeal to me, but I could easily say it's one of the best films of the year. Like, sure, Sinners is incredible. Weapons is incredible. But those are also genre movies that are the best in their category. Sinners was a great period piece horror film that was very lore accurate to like what took place in those areas back then. And Weapons was a fantastic character study in a horror film. This is just an overall great drama with great performances and really exciting set pieces. And it's hard not to argue that this is one of the best films of the year, but really it's going to depend on what you're looking for. If you only like to go to the movies for horror films, then I don't think you would think that this film is the best of the year. If you love vampire films or things like From Dusk Till Dawn and you like period accurate representations, then of course you're going to think Sinners is the best film of the year. But if you just like all movies, whether it be drama, horror, action, adventure, comedy, this is literally the best of all worlds. I was laughing out loud multiple times in this film. It's one of the funniest Paul Thomas Anderson films I've ever seen. It had great action set pieces. Sean Penn is a menacing villain, and every time he's on screen, you're on the edge of your seat because he's kind of a loose cannon and you don't know what he's going to do next. He almost plays like he's in a horror movie and he's the horror villain. Like, he's genuinely terrifying. Leonardo DiCaprio gives one of the best performances of his career, and I'm not saying that lightly. He is my favorite actor of all time. He is in my favorite movie of all time, Inception, and he's also in my favorite romantic movie of all time, in Titanic, and I could easily say this is in his top 3 best performances he's ever given. I mean, naturally, you team up one of the greatest actors of our generation with one of the greatest directors of our generation. Of course, you're going to get a performance that good, but not only does Leonardo DiCaprio give one of the best performances of his career, Benicio del Toro is incredible in this movie. Sean Penn, like I said, is amazing in this movie, and he's probably going to get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, if not winning it. I wouldn't be surprised if Leonardo DiCaprio gets a Best Actor nomination and wins it. I wouldn't be surprised if Benicio del Toro gets a Best Supporting Actor nomination and wins it. Everyone that has a role in this movie, no matter how big or small, it's truly incredible. And at the end of the day, guys, the movie was just wildly enjoyable. It literally excels at everything. Comedy, action, drama, character performances. It is, in fact, the best film I have seen this year. Believe the hype. Do not walk to the theater, but run to see it. There's not a single fault I have in this movie. There's not a single thing. I mean, that the movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and you would think that that feels long, and it would if it was a courtroom drama or any of Paul Thomas Anderson's other movies. But because every 10 minutes there's something intriguing happening or something exciting happening, like a car chase or a courtroom getting blown up or Leonardo DiCaprio evading the police or Sean Penn interrogating someone very violently, there's always something propelling the narrative along, and it's at a pace that, like, you don't feel it. You never feel it. I never checked my phone to see just how much longer the movie was going to be because I was always enthralled from start to end, and the movie has twists and turns, and it's truly a masterclass of a film. And like I said, I genuinely think it's the best movie of the year. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I would not be surprised if this movie sweeps at the Oscars this year. But what do you guys think? Have I given you a reason to want to go and see this film? Maybe you were going to see it already. I'd love to talk about it in the comments down below, especially if you've seen it. I'd love to know what you think about the performance of Sean Penn, because that really took me by storm, man. I was not expecting that. Let's talk about it down below, guys. And as always, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you next time.